friends, it's Rana and I'm back. It's been a while. I know it's been more than a month since the last time I posted a video here, and it was accidental. I wasn't planning on taking a break of my channel. The reason is for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of December, I was a little bit busy with some things and I wasn't feeling like filming anything, to be honest. Then the first week of January was a great week. I was busy with my family. We had so much fun. It was a really good week. Then suddenly, after that, my cat's Fluffy health suddenly declined and she passed away. I'm not gonna talk about her now, I'm not gonna cry, but I'm just telling you what happened. After that, I got really busy with my work. Some things happened at work and I wasn't in the right mood to film. But here I am now trying to push myself to get back into the groove and to come back to filming videos, even though I don't feel like it. But I decided to film the worst books I read in 2024 as my comeback because I felt it is appropriate from me to come here, sit down and act like nothing happened. So I gathered all the bad energy, the anger that I have inside myself to sit down and pour it all onto the worst books I read in 2024. I have 5 books to talk about. The year before that, 2023, I didn't read any 1-star books as I remember, but this year I have some to talk about. I'm gonna quickly rant about them and hate on them to make it like my comeback video of 2025, the first one, because I hope that it is the last thing negative I'm gonna have or do or happen to me this year. For the first book of these 5, I have a Korean translated book called The Hole by Hee Young-pyong. I'm not gonna talk in any order of these books, I'm just gonna spew what I have of thoughts and move on. It is a short literary fiction, some people might call it horror book. It is very short. And it talks about the main character, Ogi, I believe his name was. He got into a car accident with his wife in the car, and the car accident, because of it, he ended up paralyzed and his wife passed away. And after that, being paralyzed, he wasn't able to take care of himself. He wasn't even able to move. So his mother-in-law took the role of his caretaker, and she started to, I can't explain this book. It is the weirdest, most disturbing little book I read this year, and not in a good way, not in a disturbing good way, a disgusting way. She didn't care for him per se, she was more like torturing him, and we can predict why she might be doing that, but it doesn't make it justifiable to do it. And the ending, I didn't understand the ending. Am I stupid or something? But the ending didn't explain anything. What is the whole? What was happening? If any of you can explain the ending for me in the comments, I would be very grateful for you. The next book we have is a book that I actually wish I just DNF'd. And I did not. And it is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. So the main plot of this book is that we have this middle-aged lady who wakes up every day not remembering anything that happened in her life. And when she looks in the mirror, she is horrified to see that she is actually old because she can't remember all the things that happened in the past years. She only remembers that she is supposed to be young, not old, like when she becomes so old and ugly. I really hated that underlying tone that being old and ugly is a bad thing. Like, come on, we are all going down that path. Anyway, every day she wakes up, her husband comes to her, explain what happened, why she can't remember anything, and try to make her remember things that happened in the past. So she decided to start writing in her journal to try to make herself remember by writing some things, and when she wakes up the next morning and she can't remember anything, she might remember it by reading what she wrote for herself the previous day. And for some reason, she also decided to see a doctor to help her with her condition, and she doesn't tell her husband about that. Aside from the ending, that's all the book. It is a long book. It didn't has any right to be this long. It kept repeating itself over and over and over again. Every day she wakes up, can't remember anything, being shocked and horrified of how old she is, her husband trying to comfort her and trying to help her remember things. And that's it for hundreds of pages. Every now and then something in the plot happens to make you keep reading, something very small, insignificant, just to make you keep reading and to feed your curiosity that you want just to know what is happening and what happened in the past for her to forget everything and who are these people around her. But it was badly written. The characters were beyond annoying, and I just wish I just DNF'd it. I don't know why I didn't, but I wish I did. Both this book and the previous book I gave 1 star. And the next book is a book that I tried giving the author a second chance and it went horribly wrong. And it is A Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. So I usually like to give authors second chances, especially if I didn't completely detest the first book I read by them. So I try to give them second chances to see if the problem was just that one book or the author themselves. So long ago, very long ago, I can't remember which year, I tried reading the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. I read the first book, I think the second book and a novella, and I stopped at the end of that series. The main reason I was reading it just for that one character, I think his name was Kenji. I really liked that character, and I saw why this series has an audience that love it so much, but it wasn't what I want from books, especially from fantasy books. One day I was scrolling through my Everant application, trying to look for an audiobook, an easy one to listen to on my way back home from work, and I saw this book. I heard so many people praise it, even the people who didn't enjoy Shatter Me, so I said, why not? Let's give it a chance and listen to it. So the author says that this book is about the Muslim representation after 9/11 in the US. And some people, or I think she said it herself, that it is inspired by her life. And everyone to their own. You can be very strict Muslim, you can be practicing Muslim. I don't believe with using the word non-practicing Muslim. You are either Muslim or not. I was expecting some open-mindedness outside of our religion and culture, but I wasn't expecting it to go that far. Like, yeah, maybe the character is a teenager, a naive person that may do some wrong things as a Muslim, but it went way worse than expected. Of course, the book has that white boy, Muslim girl trope that everyone loves. Again, Muslims are different. We sin differently. Everyone sins differently. But this book did so many things against the teaching of Islam. It was ridiculous. Like a hijabi girl breakdancing for a hobby, dating a non-Muslim, kissing a non-Muslim, a non-Mahram, and during the month of Ramadan. I'm not gonna say more, but it has a lot of tropes that I hate. Like I said, the white boy, Muslim girl trope, the oops, he saw me without my hijab trope, the trope that I would never have ever in 100 years imagined that I'm gonna read it in a book. You know, if you watch K-drama, you know what I'm talking about, but always in a K-drama, there's that one cheesy scene where the two main characters accidentally slip on top of each other and accidentally kiss. Like, it never happens in real life because it is near impossible of physics. For me, it is hands down the worst book I read in 2024. I regret reading it. Sometimes ignorance is a bliss, and not reading this book was a great bliss for me. And let me tell you something. This book is catered toward the non-Muslim, the Western audience, because if you go to Goodreads and read the reviews, all the 5 stars, all the people who are loving and adoring this book are non-Muslim. And then filter the reviews and go to the 1-star, 2-star reviews. They are all by Muslim people, shocked and horrified by the things that are in this book, because how the hell do you market your book as a Muslim representation when you are not representing Muslims right? Total garbage, a can of trash. I hate this book. I won't trust anyone who say that they like this book. Like, I have this list in my mind of books that if you say that you enjoy them, if you are a fan of these books, you are totally not trustworthy for me if we are talking about books. Because how the hell would you like this book and give it a 5 stars? How? Even if you are not Muslim, even if you don't know the teaching of Islam, how the hell would you enjoy these cheesy scenes? Like, oh my god, the amount of cheesy scenes that this book had, the cliche, every scene is a cliche. Not one even original scene. All of them are all cheesy scenes that you see in trash TV shows and K-dramas. The next book is a short collection of poetry, and it is also a second chance read. As I said, I'd like to always give a second chance to books, to authors. I hated reading a book from them because I don't want to be that person that only read a book from an author and say that they are bad authors. I like to give them second chance to cement that idea that they are a bad author. In this case, it is a bad poet. The poetry collection in question is The Sun and Her Flowers by Ruby Kaur. So, I wouldn't want to give this poet another chance if it was up to me, but I was participating in this reading challenge by my public library, where each month there is a trope we need to follow and read a book following this trope. And I can't remember which month, but the trope was to read a book by an author that you didn't like before. So I didn't want to torture myself by reading a long book by an author I didn't enjoy, so I read this short poetry collection by Ruby Kaur. I read Milk and Honey a few years back. I remember it was very bad and I hated it, but I also remember that she has like a few poems here and there scattered in her book that may be said to be okay. So maybe I thought to myself, after all these years, she might have improved her poetry, she might have become better at writing poetry. Her poetry is still bad, maybe even got worse. And I believe in the deepest of my heart that she is a crime towards poetry. I don't care what you say. I don't care that she made you read poetry again. She is a crime against poetry. If you consider her books, her poems to be poetry, you don't know anything about poetry, dear. And for the last book, I can't remember things about it, and it is Never Lie by Freda McFadden. All I remember about this book that it didn't make sense, the twist didn't make sense, and it is very forgettable to me because I can't, for the life of me, remember much of what happened. Like, I remember the start, but everything from the middle towards the end, I can't remember anything of it. So yeah, another 1-star book. It was so bad that I forgot it completely and wiped it out of my mind. So that's it for today's video. I know I sound like I hate my life right now and I don't want to be sitting here filming this video, and I actually don't want to do this right now. But we don't always do the things we would want to do, right? We have to push ourselves sometimes to do things that we don't feel like doing because this is life and we have to keep living it. Hopefully next video I will be in a better mood. I will be feeling a little better and we'll talk about my favorite books of 2024. I have so many great books I read in 2024 It was a great reading year, not quantity-wise, but quality-wise. Kindly tell me what the worst book you read in 2024 and why you hated it so much. And I will see you next time. Bye!